Well, coming back, I think the obvious transition is to ask you how Challenger Queue is going, because that was a new initiative for this year, and you can compare that to your Korean solo queue experience. Surely it's better, right? Surely this is a pretty major...
I was wondering from that story, like, he didn't actually mention it. Is he like friends with Bjergsen or something? He must be friends with him now, because he even just told that lie about Bjergsen being like a really good fucking mid laner right now. Like, listen, Bjergsen might be a top 2 mid laner on Team Liquid, because I heard a rumor before Jungle Whipple was going to swap to mid, so I'll give him top 2 on the team. But fucking, what are you on about? Mate, he's been having some mad dodgy games this split. Look, he's not terrible, of course. It's Bjergsen, but like, it's not the old Bjergsen yet.
I mean, he's not like, well, for one, I will say I don't think any mid laner in the league is dominating anyone right now.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, I think that's the
like, yeah, there's no, I can't say there's a mid laner right now. Like in top lane, you can argue like Summit is, right? Or like, or even Whippo is like really standing out or whatever, right? But in mid lane, I can't say there's like a hardcore standout right now, right? Like, and I think that's partially attributed to mid meta. And that's partially just attributed to, I guess, like, what's happening in the games, right? Like, what people's level is. And that's why I will still rate him, like, top 2 or top 3 or whatever you want. Because, like, they are still winning the most games with him, right? And he's not consistently looking bad, right? So it's really hard for me right now to even rate mid laners.
He's also switched to kind of more of a supporting role in a lot of senses because of how well his other lanes have been doing.
Right. So mid laners a lot of times fit the role their team needs them to. And with this meta, you can play the facilitating role right now with a good bot lane, for example. Yeah, you're going to be a top team. Like if you have a good bot lane, a really strong laning bot lane right now with playing facilitating mids, that's just the easiest, in my opinion, the easiest way to win the game.
Anyway, what was your answer to the question, Champions Queue, though? How's Champions Queue going?
So I mean, I don't want to dog on it because I don't talk like I want to. It is good for the region. It is great to play on a low ping. It is definitely still a higher level than solo queue without a doubt. But there is a lot of downsides to it too. Like I think matchmaking for one is as big of a problem or more of a problem than it is in solo queue, because there is just some games where it is
completely... Give us an example. Like, what kind of a team would it make that would make it impossible to play the game?
Well, we'll just put Hansama and, I don't know, Ole bot lane versus, like, the 10th place LAN team's sub 80 carry and an amateur support player. The game's over in 5. The game is over in 5 minutes. The game is over in literally 5 minutes. And it is, like, one of the most unfun things to ever play. Like, it's literally, in my opinion, it's worse than solo queue, because in a game like that, when you have people in comms, they're even going to end the game in like 10 minutes. Like you don't even get to breathe as a top laner. And like in solo queue, at least, like, hey, maybe I'm playing against a really shit top laner that game. But that game, I'm laning against fucking Summit. Like he's not like running it down, right? He's doing well in lane. So now I can't carry. I can't make this big gap that's happening in the bot lane. And now I'm stuck playing with them. Like maybe I'm in comms with them for one. Now I'm listening to them in comms, like getting this shit on. Sorry guys, it's really awkward.
Yeah,
and that is just. That is so shitty. Like,
I just appreciate that in the past when you would have said 10th place, it just means the worst. But in this case, I was like, what? Shit, TSM's players are fuck that. That's not bad. But oh shit, it's going to take a while to get used to TSM being this bad, guys. But I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to, I'm willing to get used to it. Exactly.
No, but like really, these matchmakings happen. I'm not even kidding. Like,
wait, how is it generated then? Do you have an idea as to what the problem that's going on here is?
In Champs Queue.
Yeah, no, what's the flaw behind how it decides the teams, do you think? What's the problem here? Like, is it doing the classic thing of like, if you get a terrible bot lane matchup like that, does it mean also like, you had your team had just the best jungle or something that it wouldn't actually match up, but maybe in terms of points it does?
There's no MMR. Shit. There's no MMR in Champs Queue.
Is it just random as to what teams you get? Holy shit, that sounds even worse.
Yeah, so the biggest issue is Elo, your actual LP and win rate and matchmaking, none of that's considered at all in your matchmaking process. So, you can get a team, for example, by complete chance, the top 5 players and like the rank 1 player in each role in Champs Q can get on their team together versus literally 0 LP players, for example. That's possible.
I like how they added a prize pool to this as well. So it's kind of just like whoever gets luckier with their teammates.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually who's kind of grinding the most, and I think that's still okay. Like, so there's 2 ways to look at it, right? If you're actually looking at it in terms of fairness and stuff, it's not fair. For pros trying to reach, for a pro trying to do it, it's not. I would say it's not the most fair, but like, it's actually just supposed to incentivize people to queue up a lot,
yeah, of course,
and to not let the server die. Exactly. Which is a success, and you look like Jojo is rank 1, right? He's a mid laner, and I think right now mid lane is the role that's least filled for some reason. And he's getting the most games in, and he's winning most of his games, and props to him, right? He's rank 1, and I think that it's not impossible for pros to climb or anything. Like, you could still climb it, but it's just a grind, like, if you want, and it's just like solo queue, it's got its pros, it's got its cons, right? Like, if you want to reach the high ranks, you have to grind a lot, because there's plenty of games that are going to be unwinnable, like beyond unwinnable with the matchmaking. But that's just like solo queue, right? So I still think overall it's really good because you're actually getting this better practice environment regardless. It's just a bit more frustrating, I guess, because there's no MMR system. Like, I think that's more frustrating to me because I feel like my wins don't feel as... Sometimes my wins don't feel as meaningful, or I don't feel as, how do I say, like, satisfied grinding it for that reason. Because I'm going to get plus 10, I'm going to get minus 5, like, that's it. And my teammates are going to be my teammates, like, whoever. Like, I'm going to get, the player who's literally 1 wins and 25 losses in the Champs Queue on my team, potentially. Which is real. These players exist in Champs Queue.
The only thing I'm confused by is that, like, it sounds like that part of the problem is the floor of who gets let in is too low.
I think it's a delicate balance because you have to have enough of a population.
Yes,
to play the games,
exactly,
right?
exactly.
How many people total can access it at the moment? What's the number?
I'm not entirely sure the exact number.
Rough idea. Is it like 100?
I know the amount, or I know like who's being let in right now, like the requirements to be let in, and I think you need to be like minimum grandmaster in solo queue, and then you have to be on I think it's a top 16 amateur team and any LAN team. So if you're on any LAN team and you're a sub for those LAN teams, you can be in the Champs.
That's pretty wide though. That's pretty wide. That means effectively, if tomorrow Tyler 1 just became a sub, he could play. He's been challenging with like every fucking role in NA, so he could just be on it. I mean, to be fair, Tyler 1 would actually probably be good practicing this, it sounds like, compared to some of the people you're queuing with.
Yeah. No, I mean, some people are, just not, should probably not be in there, right? But then it's like, how do you kick them out or make a reason to kick them out when they are meeting the requirement that was set that they're like a sub for this team? Like, are you disrespecting the team then? Like, oh, you guys are just scouting shit talent? Like, it's...
I feel like this is where Riot could really help us out, because they're great at just being dicks, doing whatever they wanted and giving an arbitrary reason that they never actually held accountable for. Right, Monty?
Whatever.
Easy setup on that one. Easy setup on that one.
I just, I don't know. I mean, I still think it's good for the region overall.
This is a good concept, yeah.
It's still a good concept. It's got to have some holes and flaws in it at the start, right? I'm more hoping that in its final form, we can be queuing up on the actual client, just like we would in solo queue, and there's an elo system, just like in solo queue, plus 17, minus 10 or whatever, if you have good win rate or something, I'm sure we'll get there eventually.
Technically, it is actually serving the purpose of developing NA talent, because listen to what Revenge says. If you're like the worst player who's like the fucking cousin of Bjergsen's brother's daughter's thing, who's the sub on some LAN team, you're now playing against Ole and fucking Ansam, everything. You'll get your level grinded up like a motherfucker. You have to play hard mode, so you might actually get half decent. Yeah, or you'll just continue to ruin Champions Queue, one of the two. Certainly one of the two. Definitely one of the two. Want to see more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.